Nigerians have called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to set a new agenda for the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (Nnpcl) for it to meet up with current realities and scale up its activities in order to generate more revenue for the country. A cross-section of respondents who bared their minds on the activities of the company admitted that activities of Nnpcl over the years have been shrouded in secrecy, which is not supposed to be. Correspondent Kunle Ojo completes the story.
Nigeria's crude oil output rose to an all-time high of 1.35 million barrels per day in September 2023, as the country pumped its highest volume of crude oil so far since this year. Latest figures obtained from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission show that the country's output in September was about 14% higher than what it pumped in the preceding month of August 2023. Data from the Commission indicated that in September, Nigeria's crude oil production was precisely 1,346,562 barrels per day, which was a 165,429 barrels per day increase when compared to the 1,181,133 barrels per day produced in August this year. Further analysis of figures obtained from the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission indicated that in January, February and March, the country's oil output were 1,266,659 BPD, 1,292,240 BPD, and 1,266,737 BPD respectively. The former governor of the Central, at last week at a function in Abuja, said Nigerians need to know the total barrel of crude oil being produced daily and being exported and at what rate. He posited that these were some of the questions that cost him his job. Not only that, Socio-Economic Right and Accountability Project has equally lent his voice for daily accountability of crude oil being produced and exported in the country, as well as the revenue generated since the removal of subsidy.
Our most recent records have shown that we are able to meet the 1.5 million barrels of liquid crude production. And therefore, when you add 250 to 300, if we take a simple reduction of 20 on the 300, you can see clearly that 1.78 million barrels per day is realizable, but not without conditions, sir. Actually, what is deemed condensate in our production ranges between 250,000 to 300,000 barrels per day. So it oscillates.
Nigerians described the call for transparency and accountability in the affairs of Nnpcl by the former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria and Serap as timely development. They say will better position the company in good light, as being done in countries like Saudi Arabia, Canada, Russia and United States.
Asking for it. The oil and gas sector is our mainstay, is our major source of revenue. It belongs to 220 million Nigerians. And if that is the case, we all have the right to know, without being asked, to know what we produce on a daily basis, to know what we export, to know what comes in terms of dollars. Remember, the former CBN governor, Lamido Sanusi Lamido, recently accused the Nnpcl of not remitting appropriate, forex to the government coffers.
One of the major economic base of Nigeria is oil, and NNPC has been the agency that is spearheading that agency. That economy. So I think it's important for NNPC to come out and inform Nigerians of what they have been generating.
Respondents maintain that operations of the country, which is the major sources of revenue for the country, has been shrouded in secrecy, which is not supposed to be.
In secrecy because as I speak to you now, I don't know how many oil reserve. I don't know the level of oil reserve of Nigeria as I am speaking to you as a Nigerian. Some other countries are, making it public for their citizens to know this is what we have as reserve. Why won't NNPC come out and tell us this is what we have in our reserve? Let alone the issue of barrels in production.
What this goes to show simply is that NNPC is not feeding the country with the appropriate information. What this goes to show is that NNPC has skeleton in its cupboard. What this goes to show is that NNPC is keeping secret. And so we are saying, come out from your shell, don't leave us in the dark, tell us what you are doing. It is a public organization that belongs to the entirety of Nigerians, and if you are keeping Nigerians in the dark, you have to stop it.
They, however, emphasized the need for openness and timely information about the amount of crude being produced on a daily basis, the export, as well as amount being generated, since it has assumed the status of a public limited liability company.
Well, repositioning requires a whole lot, requires some very deep research on what is currently happening and what we can do to improve on what is happening. As we speak, the 4 oil refineries we have, they are not producing. It needs to be upgraded. They need to be producing. It's an aspect to talk about.
The way forward to reposition NNPC is actually to have a substantive minister. Let us have a functional refinery. Let us know how many oil wells Nigerian government own, and please, Nigerian government, let the Nigerian government rise up to its responsibility by stopping oil spillage, by also stopping bunkering.
Going forward, respondents charged the government at the center to ensure proper handling of the country's major source of revenue by putting the round pegs in the round holes for rapid socio-economic development.